Oops. Hold on, now I gotta wait for it to stop being a derp. In the meantime, this is, for anyone that saw the previous tutorial, this is the same tutorial, I'm just re-recording it because I didn't know till too late that I had completely blocked the audio, so I've got the microphone further away from my mouth, and I've lowered the volume on FF split so that it doesn't, well, screw up again. User error, gotta love it. Anyhow, to state again, this tutorial is going to show you how to have an Ao-oni-esque like chase scene. And so, you're going to need 2 switches and 4 variables. I'll open up an event to show you. Because I've got the variables. Let's see. Ignore this. Oh, dang it. Ignore the hiding. It's for another tutorial later. But you'll need player X, player Y, enemy X, enemy Y, chase length, and chase counter for your variables. Now, for switches, you're going to need enemy appear on and enemy chase. Now, after you've got your variables and your switches made up, you're going to need to go into database because we're going to make our common events. And the first one we're going to make is player X and Y. And we're not going to give it a trigger because we're going to have something call it. We're going to have one of the events and the events on the map call it. So you go to get to these, you go to control variables, game data, map ID, go to character, player, and map X. And then you do the same thing for player Y, and make sure that they're separate and not 2 X's or 2 Y's, because I can't tell you how many times I did that making this tutorial up before. Now then, this one right here, you can call it whatever you want, but for the sake of example in this tutorial, this is Ghost. And this is basically the counter. So it'll count down, in a way, to how many seconds. You have a name, call it a parallel process, and you set it to enemy chase. You make a loop, and then you bring in a conditional branch. And in that conditional branch, let me pull up what I'm going to show you. It has to go by variable, and chase counter must be greater than another variable, which is chase length. See? And I'm going to delete that. After that, for the first part, it'll control switches. It'll control the switch to turn enemy chase off, and then turn the chase length. Oh, oops! I think I did that wrong. Because it's not chase length that needs to get turned off, it's chase counter needs to be returned to 0. Oopsie, I moved there. Nope, go away. Chase length, chase counter. There we go. Oops, I don't want to do that. So when the chase counter becomes as great as or greater than chase length, you need to return it to 0 so that the chases won't end immediately for the next time. So you turn enemy chase off and you return the variable chase counter to 0. And maybe fade out background sound effect if you had, or background music if you have music to accompany the chase. And then break loop. And for the else, until the chase counter is greater than the chase length, wait 60 frames or 1 second, and then control variable chase counter, add 1. And it's a loop, so it will just keep adding on until it reaches the former of the conditional branch. With that set up, we need to set up the event that would have the spirit show up, which in this case for this tutorial is this girl right here. Ignore this is just scene. You would turn enemy chase on, control variables, chase length, which is set to 25. You can set it to shorter or longer, it just really depends on what you want to do. I'm going to make it shorter for the sake of the tutorial. And then control self switch A. If you have it set, I've seen sort of like this where it's just sort of built up. I didn't save that. Oh, well, yes, I did. Never mind. I'm dumb. And right here, I have another event. I have it set up to be ghost. And this is just so it appears for theatrics. Right now it's blank. But in this event here, I have it tell the event ghost to turn into the enemy graphic after coming out of one of the doors to show up. And now I'll do that as a mini tip later for anyone who doesn't know how to do that. Now then, now that we've covered the variable switches, common events, and your enemy appearing, now's for the real magic begins. You need to make your enemy switch. You have to copy your enemy and the chase event to each map you're doing it on. So every map where you want the enemy to appear and chase your player character to, they need to be on every map. So this one is Ghost 1 again, and it's set to come on when enemy appear comes on. And I have it set to below characters and player touch, and have it set to approach so it goes towards the character. And I was fiddling with this trying to get it to look more natural when it walks, but so far no luck. My leg itches. Anyhow. Let's see, show picture. Oh yeah, that's for the showing. Never mind. The ghost says something, fade out screen, high pitch screen, game over. So for this ghost, it's an instantaneous game over. Otherwise, you could add maybe play a sound effect to be hurt and then change HP if you have just a little bit of HP and decrease it at touch. That way you could, let's say for example, database actors. Where do I set the base health? Oh yeah, right here. Maybe not. Maximum hit point. Let's see. How would I? What? Oh dear. Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, you already know how to change the HP. You could set it to 3 HP, and after 3 hits of knocking off 1 hit point, boom, end game. So there's that. So after we've got the ghost set up, sorry for really going on for too long on that, you're going to set up the ghost chase, which is set for enemy chase to turn on, which we turned on in the last event, right here. Enemy chasing that. And you're going to tell it to call the common event, and you call the common event in flow control right here. You will control the variables, and this is what basically tells the game where to bring the enemy in, since it'll have the enemy appear where your character came out at, your player character. Oops! Sorry! Accidentally laid on my tablet. And of course, enemy X must equal variable player X. And same thing for Y. And then, so, as you can see, I've got the ghost event location right there. You can set event location and destination with map variables right here. Since that'll move it, because this checks where this was, and then this will tell it where to put the ghost. Wait 60 frames, or maybe 120, or 240, depending on how long you want it to take for the ghost to show up. 120 is actually really good, because then the ghost isn't necessarily entirely on the heels. And then enemy appear on, and then erase event. That way, it'll just happen on its own each time you come onto the map, provided this switch is on. And of course, it's a parallel process, so it'll run on its own. And again, once you've got these two set up, you just paste them wherever you want them. And I had a little bit of difficulty in working with it before, so in order to get it so that the enemy doesn't automatically appear, right here and then just poof over here, I've told the doors to have the enemy appear set to turn off. Now, if the enemy's really close by, it's sort of, sort of about it. You could probably fade out, then fade in to sort of accommodate for that really quick, but I don't know. But if the enemy is still a bit too close to the player character, they might just go poof and be gone as you go into the door. At least with how I've got it set up. What? Oh, whoops, wrong one. And right here is this, and it's set to turn enemy appear off as well, once we have a certain object, which is this thing right here. And then once you've got all that set up, all you have to do then is test it. Woo! Speed of light! And for this, I didn't really bother to get rid of all this, mainly because it's a tutorial. I don't really need to care about it. So, just save right there. Yep. And run away! Oh, wrong button. Where are you going? There you are. Yeah, she's not really fast or smart, it seems. Yeah, maybe I should have left it at 60 seconds. Oops, I made the chase length too short. Now I see why Destrick's tutorial was set to 25, because 10 seconds is way too short. Okay, save. Do 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 do. Speed through the dialogue again. Run away! Oh, right. Must hurry before the timer runs out. No, you don't! Haha, sucker! And then there she is again. Right there. And I'm just gonna get caught. Screw it. I love that scream. It fits perfectly with the tutorial. Now then, something else that occurred to me. Is I'm gonna make another switch. Insert. Well, actually, no. Cancel. I got an idea. We're going to go into database, and we're going to go back into common events. We're going to insert and make additional branch. We're going to make two more variables. Weight length and weight counter. Because in Ao-oni, occasionally if you take a little too long to get something done, the Oni is just going to appear anyway and go, "Rah, you're taking too long, I'm going to devour your soul." So, we're going to turn that, we're going to make those really quick, and we're going to set a control switch to waiting game, and apply. Hit OK, and OK. Now then, we're going to call it, again, waiting game for the next event. It's going to be a parallel process that turns on when the conditional switch of this one for this portion right here turns it on. Now then, again, we're going to set a loop. Going to do a condition. Well, wait, hang on. I forgot. I'm going to insert again. Control variable. We need to set our weight length. And let's say we'll make it 25. Again, why not? And the way I've got it set up right here, though, is in Destruct's tutorial, it will just, the ghost will fade off. Well, in his it's a robot, but he has it set up so that the ghost will just fade in, and then the screen will fade in and out, and then the enemy is poof, gone. But I prefer this because it's a little more like Ao-oni, because you have to go into a door into a new area to get rid of it, or to be away from it. Now that we've got our weight length set and the switches turn on, now we can set the conditional branch variable. Weight counter is once again greater than 25. Okay. If it's greater than 25, we're going to control a switch. Enemy chase, and it's going to turn it on. Because this one is set to, since this one, the enemy chases it to come on when that switches up. And we're going to control the variables, and we're going to reset the weight counter back to 0. Otherwise, it's going to wait 60 seconds, and then control variables, it will add one weight counter to it. And then of course, we've got to break the loop when it's done, so that it's not continuously running. And then we're going to insert again, control switches, and tell it to turn waiting game off. That way this is off and you don't have the ghost reappearing off at some other corner of the game or something, or reappearing on the opposite side of the map. So it'll turn the chase on, set the wait counter to 0, and waiting game will turn off, so this one will turn back on. Same concept, similar execution, so we're going to sit OK, do that. Going to go into here and set it back to 60 seconds, because good lord, 120 takes too dang long. Apply, OK. I'll lower it, see what that does. Move out. Move toward player, yeah. Just screw it. Move toward player always. And okay. Save. New game. Well, that didn't turn out so well. Dang it! In the meantime, I'm going to put it to normal. And go back to the dorm room here and set her to normal as well. Apply, okay, save. Yes. Really? You're slow. You're so slow. You're so slow. Haha! See? And it works very well. You can't get me, you can't get me, now I'm gonna go away, screw you. But yeah, as you saw there, she sort of just goes poof and gone. Yeah, you could just simply do a fade out and fade in between the transition and turning off the event. But that all depends on what you guys want to do. Holy! Well, I wasn't expecting that to happen. "25 seconds was over faster than I thought." That I completely borked it with the waiting counter. One or the other. Anyway, this tutorial has probably gone on long enough, so I'll see you guys later. And as before, the original tutorial by District Gamer is in the description below. Hopefully I was a little clearer in sound and getting the tutorial done this time than I was before, so TTFN everybody, and I'll see you later.